Brand News Podcast. I'm your host, Charlotte Emily, a fashion podcast sharing news behind brands. Each episode, I'll speak to people from within the industry to get a better understanding of their job roles, as well as discussing the latest fashion news. Welcome, Jesse.
Thank you.
So nice to have you here. Really happy. Thank you for coming on to my podcast. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's an interesting journey, and it's really nice being here.
Yeah, thank you. Jesse, you are the art director at Bol,
Yes.
An online department store in the Netherlands, a job that you've now been doing for almost 3 years.
Correct.
I'm really interested to hear about your CV, but first, I wanted to ask you, what did you study?
I studied spatial design, and afterwards I went to the Art Academy in Utrecht. And at the spatial design part of my first studies, I mostly worked in visual marketing, graphic design, styling, those sort of stuff, visual merchandising. And afterwards I studied design, where I designed chairs and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
We know each other from working at Hunkemuller, which is a Dutch lingerie brand. I was kind of looking at your CV and my own, to be honest, to just like check out when that was, and it was 12 years ago.
12 years ago,
yeah. So we were saying earlier, like, we know each other from me bringing you samples for photo shoots and stuff.
Yeah, it was really, it's really nice looking into your CV again when I was preparing for this podcast, right? To see like, oh, what a journey it has been.
Yeah.
And it was so nice to get this message from you, like, hi. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So I wanted to actually talk to you about the start of your career. So you started at Hunkemuller, as we said, and what was your first job there?
It was 12 years ago, so it was 2012-ish, I guess. And I was fresh out of school. I was studying at the Academy of Arts.
Okay, yeah.
And I got this email from someone saying, I think this is something for you, because I did my internship at a lingerie brand before. And I was like, oh, this sounds quite cool. So I went to do their visual merchandising. Nice. So that was my first job at Hunkemuller. Yeah.
And you eventually stayed on for about 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
Nice time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you left, you were the art director there.
Yeah, correct.
How was that journey, like going from visual merchandising into art direction?
Yeah, well, I'm also really grateful for the experience I had there, because it was such a journey that I also didn't expect to be that journey. So my dream was always to lead like this big visual merchandising business within a company, or a team within a company. And I got the opportunity there to start off as a visual merchandiser, and then also designing the stores and stuff with the team. And one day, or not in one day, she got pregnant over one day. And the art director at the time, Natalie, she went on maternity leave, and I had to cover for her, which was opening my eyes to opportunities within my creative thinking and expertise to grow. And that was amazing. So when she came back, I was like, no, I really don't want to go back to my old job. Yeah. I would really want to do this. So I stayed for then, I think, 6 months, and then I left because, being young, looking for opportunities, thinking the world is better somewhere else. Yeah, the grass is always greener. Which wasn't, because I went back a year after.
Okay.
With open arms. So that was really great. And I had a great experience there. Where I did also still went on to designing the windows, but also designing and thinking, creating all the advertising, TV commercials, campaigns. It was great.
That sounds like a great journey.
Yeah.
So you've also actually done some freelance work, right?
Yeah. So after 6 years at Hunkemuller, meeting so many inspiring, cool people, I thought like, this is my time to go, which was really hard, that decision. I think also in preparing for this, I was thinking about like, what was my hardest decision I had to make in my career? And I think that moment was really the defining moment in my career, because I had to take I have to make the decision to just leave. But I really loved my colleagues. I loved my job that I created there, and I loved the people I worked with. I loved the CEO as well.
Yeah.
So it was really hard. So it took me 3 years to leave, sort of, and then I stayed for 2 days a week, you know.
Oh yeah.
And then freelance beside that.
Okay.
And it sort of gradually became bigger and bigger, the freelance part, which I also really enjoyed. But after, I think, 4 years of being with an agency, I was really missing the team.
Yeah.
The team spirit, like meeting up with the same people every day. It sounds so corny, but
yeah.
it was something I just thrive at. I really love helping people.
Yeah.
Getting better at their job, like giving my experience to younger people and helping them to get better and eventually make the brand that you're working for better.
Yeah.
So I was missing it a lot. Yeah.
Is that the biggest difference you would say from going freelance to first working at a corporate big company with a lot of people? Is that kind of the biggest difference in art direction as a freelancer?
Yeah, well, I freelanced as a stylist mostly. So yeah, I did a lot of different jobs within fashion and creative business. So yeah, it's a big difference because when you're freelancing, you get to meet new people every day, or you go traveling for them for 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever.
Yeah.
And when you're in this corporate world, first of all, you're always like the funny one, you know, like the crazy one within corporate, obviously. But I think that's the biggest difference. I didn't like the feeling of doing everything alone.
Yeah.
And you're not alone as a freelancer, obviously, but that's how I felt sometimes. Like,
yeah, you're still running your own business, right?
Yeah, but by yourself. I always had assistants, you know, which was really nice. I still talk to them a lot.
Yeah.
But it just never felt truly connected for me. And I really love and I miss the connection.
Yeah. So is that when you made the decision to look around and go back into corporate, or how did the jump then go to working at Bol?
Well, there was a job in between. So I was doing a lot of styling, and I was in this agency who represented me, and I got this job to do some styling for a magazine. And I really loved the magazine, and my dream job at that time was to actually design a magazine and create everything for that magazine, from the covers to the fashion series and the editorials and the interviews. And I got the chance to do that. So I went to work for NC, which is a Dutch magazine run by Chantal Jansen, which was great. I worked there for 2.5, almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And was sort of the combination of everything I learned before, like from the corporate life at Hunkemöller, like designing and creating everything, to my styling experience, and I got to incorporate them in this new job.
Yeah. How is that working for a magazine publication?
How is it? It was really fun. It was really, you know, the magazines it's a tough world, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're all sort of dying.
Well, that's what I hear. And kind of, I mean, well, I've not ever been in magazine publication, but I feel like you hear a lot of brands, going online and bringing out less numbers a year, going from like 12 to 6.
Makes sense. You know, it's like for us creatives, for people that work in fashion, the actual holding of the paper is something for us is really valuable. But I think for the smell of paper, but also when you create something or you dream about creating something in the future, it really helped me grow into my role when I was younger. So dreaming about working for this magazine, seeing your name on those papers, you know?
Yeah, amazing.
But I guess younger people now, or younger, not even younger, I'm not that young anymore, but younger people always on their phone, including myself, makes sense that the getting into the information or the inspiration is just going through a different device. Yeah. Which is also better for the environment in the end.
Yeah.
But magazines, it's a world of its own.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So, okay, so then I got your CV a little mixed up, but then you stepped out of that role. And is that when you went to Bol?
Yes.
How did that go?
Well, I was, to be honest, quite overwhelmed working in the magazine world because it was such a amazing job and I took it really, really seriously. I wanted to make everything so much better. I had really high expectations from the people before there, for me, working there. Those were amazing. So I had some big shoes to fill. And I took on a lot. And I wanted to do a great job for myself, for the future, for the magazine, for Chantal, for everyone. And I had a great experience, but it was also a lot. Working from early days to late in the evenings, traveling from studio to studio, collecting samples, collecting styling. I did everything there. And then I thought like, oh, I sort of missed the days where I was with this team. And then I thought like, I was thinking back about my Hunkemöller days. Like I was like a fish in the water. And then I was thinking about like, why was that actually?
Yeah.
Was it because I had the same people around me every day? Or was it the opportunity? Or was it the corporate life? Was it like the decision making that was quite tight and strict? Or like the process? I didn't know. So then I was thinking like, I think that my husband was always telling me, you need to work at a big company. That's where you thrive. And I was asking him, why do you think that?
Why?
Yeah, it's not true. No, it is true. He was totally right. So thinking about new opportunities at the time, I was like, I want to go work at an in-house agency for a big brand. And I want to take a leading role. Yeah. Not a creating role specifically, but also like a leading role, helping people, making a brand better. And then I was thinking about actually a good little bridge there. Digital.
Yeah.
I always worked with brands that are quite physical, a physical store, creating campaigns that were physically in windows.
Yeah.
Well, phones weren't that big at the time,
but still, you said like commercials and
definitely. But it was all to fill those stores.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so physical spaces.
And I was thinking it was just something everybody was feeling. Like the world is changing. Digital becomes bigger and bigger, better and better as well.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
And I guess that was something that sort of tricked me in thinking, I need to learn more about the creative digital experience and how to influence it. And as someone that doesn't live in Amsterdam, which for a lot of people in the creative is like, oh, you're not from Amsterdam. Yeah. No, I'm not. I love Amsterdam, couldn't live here. But it was like, I need to work at a company where people are valued for who they are.
Yeah.
That was one of my wishes.
Beautiful, yeah.
I want to work with people that are smart, interesting, and they need to do something that I don't know anything about.
Okay, that's an interesting list.
Yeah, and of course I did know how to create stuff.
Yeah.
But and I live in Utrecht, near Utrecht. And Bol is in Utrecht. And I was like, this is the biggest digital platform out there.
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, had a lot of creative work to be done. That's what you saw. I felt the opportunity of making the brand even cooler. Because it was and it still is obviously a practical platform to shop. Yeah. It's really about like, I need toothpaste. Okay, let's buy toothpaste. Or I need a book. Yeah. I can buy a book. But I saw that they were working their way up against really big other companies that were like really good in bringing you inspiration. Like Weekamp or ASOS or, Bijenkorf.
Is that from your art direction, like goggles that you were wearing, that is what you had observed?
Yeah, I think so. You just saw that they were, they obviously started like with selling books. They were the first one out there.
Yeah.
you were looking at your computer because you did your research, right, about how this. So I need to be really curious, cautious about what I say now. That is correct. But they started off by selling books.
Yeah.
And
that is correct.
That is correct. Yeah, that's what I know. No, sure, I do know. I do know. And gradually, it became more and more of different elements to shopping, right? So that's something that they did. They are always really young-spirited company, and that's what I felt like looking into it. Like they were making new elements, and then they went into fashion as well. And I was like, oh wow, it's close to home. It's a company that says they are really about making people feel welcome.
Yeah.
De winkel van ons allemaal is the slogan, the store of us all. So that's what I felt in my heart. It was a safe place to work, also a safe place to create and to develop.
Match for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got recruited.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was quite funny because I applied for the job at first time and I didn't hear anything back.
Oh, and then you got recruited.
Yeah. Then I got recruited, which was really fun experience because I was so sort of devastated, like, damn, this is, I really want to go there. It just felt like the right match for me. And then this recruiter called and I had this conversation like, they didn't reply, right? So why are we having this discussion? And then I got the spirit like, I'm gonna get this job.
Yeah.
This job is for me. And here I am 3 years later.
Amazing.
Thriving, having a really cool in-house studio with a lot of creative, cool people.
Yeah.
Getting cooler by the moment. So it's nice.
Yeah, we said earlier, like bol in the Netherlands, because obviously we don't only have Dutch people listening in. So I was thinking, like, how can we explain it? And you hit the nail on the head by saying it's the Dutch Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon.com or
but sweeter.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like that is like the best way to
it's really difficult to describe, but it is different.
Definitely.
Yeah. So for people that my friends from abroad who don't know what bol is, I always explain like you have Amazon, we have bol. That sounds a bit more friendly to say because obviously Amazon being the big giant that they are, we're also bigger. Let's not say
absolutely
say that. Yeah,
you're massive.
yeah, definitely. But we're always it's sort of a Dutch thing. Maybe we're like inherited in the Dutch heritage. We're like this brand that everybody knows. We're a brand that helps little commercial brands as well. Yeah. Stores. Yeah. Partners, we call them, that sell for us. I think we're friendlier. I think we're nicer. I think we are more creative as well.
I'll give you a compliment here because I think a lot of it has to do with art direction.
Oh, really? Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were saying earlier about me looking at my laptop, and I am, because I found some really interesting highlights to kind of share with the audience because, I mean, bol is the best known online shop in the Netherlands and probably Belgium. Yeah, Belgium, yeah. It opened its doors in 1999, selling books. Yeah. And it now has 13 million active customers in the Netherlands and Belgium.
Yes.
Which is insane.
It is insane. Yeah, I know. If you hear those numbers and you sort of, when you're creating stuff and think about like how many people are seeing this. You need to sort of. Yeah.
Because the product range is 35 million items. And you have 52,000 sales partners who sell their products through your platform. And my next question was going to be, that must be a lot of pressure, no?
Well, I think that's the fun part about being an art director for bol, because we are such a fun company to work for, it is such a fun company to work for. They are so close. So the hierarchy is not really there. So when you're creating, you just have this open flow And you obviously came to our office, and it's massive. It's like this big. When the first time I came in, I don't know how you felt, but it's like this really big sort of airport gate.
It totally feels like you're gonna check in your luggage and gonna get a plane to Mallorca. Yeah. Really?
Well, that would have been good. But it's really big.
It's massive,
And I never felt that way again after my first time walking in there. So no, it's pressure. Obviously, because you take your job seriously, but it feels like a really close team. So we work always with the same people, so it doesn't feel that big.
Yeah.
We don't have the warehouse, obviously, in our headquarters, because that wouldn't
fit
possible. And I think the first time I saw these videos of the warehouse, it sort of blew my mind. And when I heard those numbers you were saying here as well, in my first introductions, I was like, oh my God, this is like something I've never sort of processed in my mind before.
Yeah.
But also me I'm also a customer, obviously.
Yeah. Well, so, I think everyone.
Yeah, obviously, like we have like so many million people buying with us. But that's also a challenge, right? To keep those people on the platform. And that's something where my job sort of helps in a lot, as you say, which is really nice for you to say so, because, we're hoping to that we and as a team sort of contribute to
absolutely
making it friendly, obviously, inspirational, but also, something that you wake up to every day.
Yeah. So when you came in, you'd obviously kind of seen from an outside perspective, you'd observed their art direction, let's say. What was your first task?
My first task, it was sort of getting. We have a couple of areas that Bol really needed to grow in.
Yeah.
So obviously we said, well, they started off with books, and every time a category got bigger and bigger and bigger, or different categories. And one of them was fashion, obviously. Like from books to fashion, it's a different story and a different way of presenting stuff as well. So at the time, the fashion wasn't that great. It was really difficult to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
So my job was to sort of getting Bol to what they actually were, what they could be.
So since 2020, Bol has been focusing more on fashion. How's that journey been?
Well, one of my first jobs when I started at Bol 3 years ago was to uplift their appearance of the fashion store.
That sounds like a great task.
Yeah, it was a great task, and also really challenging because we had a lot of accessories at the time, shoes, bags, watches, that sort of stuff, sports, socks, shoes, that sort of stuff. But you have to be, we have a responsibility as a company as the size of Bol to also do it in a really impressive way, right?
Yeah.
You have to do it right.
Yeah.
And
the Bol way.
The Bol way. And the big way. But it needed some help. So obviously investing money was something that needs to be done. Getting the right partners to deliver fashion was something that was an issue. But also seeing the visual aspects of making the brand look better helps with that specific target audience because they are used to seeing something else than just a photo of a washing machine. You cannot just put a picture of a shoe and think it's going to sell on its own. And that was something that my role could really help in my experience within the fashion industry as well. So that was such a great job to do.
So what was your actual first task? Did you create a
campaign?
Photo shoot? Campaign?
A photo shoot. Obviously. No. So within our in-house agency, we are sort of responsible for all the imagery, the visual aspects of it. We work also together with a big agency that helps overseeing the highlights of the campaign, and they are also responsible for the TV commercials. So we do look into the commercials and we match them with our offline experience online experience. So the offline experience with the online experience. So my first job was to design a campaign for our fashion store. That was in 2021. And we went from a really tiny shoot somewhere in the studio at Bol itself to this really big studio outside where we shot for 5 days with, I think, 10 models. They haven't been out of their studio before. So for me also, it was a really big tasks, like I'm gonna show you like how we should do this, and it really helped. So revenue went up by 50%.
Wow, 50%.
Yeah, and that was great. Yeah. So for me as well, I didn't look into those numbers before I started talking to you. So I asked the fashion store, like, can you tell me something about it, because it's also really interesting. Like, Bol is a brand and a platform that is really focused on data, and I also work with a lot of data, but I always just knew it went better, so I never sort of went into the numbers. But it was really nice to hear. It's like, this has really a lot to do with you being here, but also working so closely as a department with the in-house agency to creating something better and better each time. And we're now in the, I think, 7th fashion series. Yesterday was the last day of the shoot for the spring summer, and my whole team is just doing it on their own.
Wow.
I don't have to be there anymore. I want to. Isn't that it was super nice. And it was such a proud moment this week. Like seeing the team working on their own in this studio with such cool models, cool photographers, people being really friendly and happy, colleagues walking by saying, "Oh, you have such a cool job," and everything. It's like, yeah, this is a really cool job, right?
Yeah. How is it managing a team as well? Because I can imagine that's also a job of its own.
Yeah, well, in the agency that I work in the creative studio, as we call it, it's we have a couple of different roles, which I am one of, and I am responsible for getting the team to work on better quality, but also consistency. So that's the biggest challenge, because obviously we have a lot of different categories, and a couple of thousand people working with us. And the funny part about, I was also thinking about, what is my role actually? What is an art director, right? And being a creative is something that everybody has an opinion about. So everybody thinks they are a creative when they think everybody is a creative. There is no one, you can get a degree, but you can also just be a creative, right? You don't have to. If you're good, you're good. But it has something to do with everybody's interests, or I have to tell this differently. You get like this assignment, so you get a briefing and you fill that in. And everybody that fills that in has their own goals to get. And we are always, as a creative business, or a creative, or an art director, or a photographer, or the whole group that's working together, is the last bit before it goes out.
Okay.
So the whole funnel gets to the moment of creating, right? The buyer for fashion, for example, just buys the collection, which you know probably everything about. So you buy the collection, you get the partners in there. You have to say, this brand can look good with this one, and this one doesn't work that well with that one, or whatever. Then you get the briefing. Then you get the marketing department telling the briefing. And then everything comes together. And we have to sort of create the vision that everybody needs to do their job as good as well. So everybody has an opinion. And that's not only at Bol, that's everywhere that I worked. That's difficult for then to get consistency. That's like the challenge you have as an art director, to sort of oversee the brand elements of something. Like, what are the values that needs to be communicated? Which one do you highlight and which you don't? What is the message that we need to get across, like campaign-wise or promotion-wise or time-wise, Christmas or, Valentine.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, a big challenge for everyone in the team to sort of see the same vision. That's what my role is mostly about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the team that I work with consists of designers, copywriters, photographers, producers, event managers, project managers, that whole aspect of creating. You need so many people to get to the final product.
Yeah.
And my role is not to direct people, as you may expect from the word art director, but it's actually to guide people in the right direction.
Yeah.
And help them to focus on the things that are important.
How big is a team that does this? If I'm just thinking like these numbers, like all those customers, all these products, like how big is actually the creative team?
So I think we're around, we're mostly with 25-ish.
It feels small if you listen to like all of these.
Yeah,
numbers,
and then we're obviously not talking about the agencies that we work with that also help. So there are way more people involved. There's also something that I was thinking about, like how I thought in my early days of my career, like you can do everything by yourself, just make it look pretty, and it will sell. Can you imagine like thinking that? So I did. I was like, when you're younger, it's like just make it look beautiful, or just throw some glitter on it and it will be fine. And getting older and having more experience, you so much are in need of a really good team that works together in all different disciplines of the field.
Yeah. So how do you explain your job, maybe for someone that doesn't work in the creative field or in the fashion field? Like, how do you explain what it is that you do? Yeah,
so that's a really good question. And I asked my friend ChatGPT to help because obviously seriously. I was thinking you have so many different roles of being an art director. So to start off with, this is also a good joke within our team. Like in the beginning when I came, everybody's like, what is your role? Like, what is your role?
Yeah.
I was like, to help you make it look better, to create things that are telling a better story, to make it visually appealing, to make it a complete story. But you also have art directors who work on set and designing sets and building sets, and you have art directors who are working in the graphical field mostly.
Yeah.
So I asked my friend, my really close friend, what it is, and it really helped.
Oh yeah.
So it really helped.
What did he say? What a great friend.
What a great friend, huh?
Yeah.
So honest. So helpful. No, it says that I, as an art director, are a professional gatekeeper who is responsible for overseeing and underlying the visual aspects of an advertising campaign.
Yeah,
I was like, well, damn on the head, girl.
Yeah. Who could have said that better?
My friend.
Yeah.
My friend. No, but seriously, it was like, that's also because you also need to, like, what is it actually that you do? I come in and I say something and I throw ideas around and everybody just has to follow, or it's a really difficult explanation of what I do. My husband used to say something about, he went to the knip- en plakschool. So the sort of, how do you explain the craft school?
Craft school for kids.
Yeah. And I understand if you don't. I think it's such a fun role that you can sort of give your own twist to. Yeah. Because my experience, which also has a downside, that I did so many different things that I am not experienced in this one big part of my job.
Yeah.
I love to do all those different things. But that also really made me conscious and really grateful that there are people that are actually craftsmen.
Yeah.
You can't do everything by yourself.
No.
So I need a really great designer to design. I don't design. I help you with the direction that I wanted to go in.
Yeah.
But yeah, my friend explained it quite well. That's what I do. I help with the visual aspects of an advertising campaign. And an advertising campaign could be for Bol, obviously an out of home, but also designing an event. So then it's not an advertising campaign, but we also do shoots also for advertising for your colleagues, for example.
Yeah.
So yeah, my friend is correct.
So smart.
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory? Or what's like your favorite campaign, favorite thing that you've worked on?
Yeah, I thought about this question. Yeah, because you were so friendly to send me your questions. I remember this one time, it was at Hunkemüller. We went for the first big shoot with Duitse Cruise.
Oh.
And for me, that was like I think still one of the biggest highlights of my campaign.
Yeah.
You brought the samples. And we went to Rome. And obviously her being the new brand ambassador at the time was a big secret.
Yeah.
But also we needed a lot of imagery to make everything. And one of the biggest things we needed to do was create the new design of all the trucks that were going to drive all over Europe.
Oh, yes. I actually remember this. Yeah.
So together with my close friend Jouke Bos, who was the photographer at the time, we were in Rome shooting this campaign. And we were in this beautiful mansion. It was Italian dream house. And she was laying on this bed, and the campaign that we designed was Doubts and Stories. So every campaign was telling a different story about her life. And that picture was how do you say? It was just like the picture that everybody needs to recognize over time.
Yeah.
So I needed to tell Doubts and Stories forever.
Yeah.
So when that picture that we created and thought about came out of that little printer in this back office, was one of the first pictures that we took. I really was weeping. Yeah, it was such a proud moment, like getting there from, as a visual merchandiser, walking around that office, bringing samples everywhere and creating stuff, to being in Rome with this really big international team with one of the biggest superstars out there. Absolutely. With my friend Jouke, who I was really looking up to from when I was young. To being there was such a proud moment, and I cherish that moment a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
How long was that campaign? So how long before did you kind of work on that? Before that photo came rolling out of the printer?
I think we started year and a half-ish. Yeah. 2 years maybe.
Yeah. So you had to keep it a secret for 2 years.
Yeah, I can't remember the name we gave her. It was like this secret name internally, how we called that project. She had it was such a funny name. It was so different than what it was.
Something like Karen.
Yeah. I can't remember. It was so good. Oh no, it was really difficult to keep it a secret as well, because everyone was so excited.
Yeah.
Like this big Dutch supermodel.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and that's after she left Victoria's Secret, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Really good accomplishment.
Yeah, I also think for the brand, it was a moment. It was a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cherish that moment. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you asked also the question about how I would have approached stuff differently with the lessons I've learned along the way. And I think also hearing my story now, thinking about it again, you just need to follow your heart more. I think that's something or your heart, your gut.
Both.
Both. Like, you have to live a little. If it brings you fear, go for it.
Yeah.
If it sort of keeps you up at night, you're probably in the right direction. Sounds crazy, but it is true. I think if it scares you, it has potential. It has something. And just take your time as well. Things take time. go with the flow. Don't take it too seriously. I took it so seriously.
Yeah.
And I still think we have a responsibility, obviously.
Yeah.
I also think as a creative and as an art director, you have the responsibility in a community to tell stories in a great way. And I think you need to take that seriously, but also have fun in your job. We're not like, we always say at Bol and the team when things get hard, like we're not saving lives. It's so stupid to say it. It's really corny, but it is true.
Yeah.
We're just selling underwear, or we're just selling shoes or toothpaste or washing machines or AirPods, or I don't know. We sell everything, cat food.
Yeah.
But it is true. Sometimes when you're creating stuff, it feels super personal.
Yeah.
Your ideas are coming to life, so it feels like something of your own.
Yeah.
And I think as a creative, you need to let that go. Look from a different perspective. And me saying this now, thinking, do I actually do this? I try to. Sometimes it also catch up with me because I'm really a passionate person, and I am such a big overthinker. But you need to. I cannot tell anyone what to do, but when you're trying to grow into a role like an art director, you need to look from different perspectives and think in the bigger picture. I was always looking at the smaller pictures before. Yeah. And that's something that Bol really, really taught me. And that's also something I need to owe my manager for, to help me see the bigger picture. Yeah. If you can't fix it now, that's fine. How are we going to do it for the future? How are you going to prevent it from happening again? Yeah. So the next time it gets better. And I was always focused on that first part. Like, it needs to be good now. It needs to be perfect this time. And he taught me, so hello, Laurent, if you're listening, but he taught me to look at the bigger picture. And that's so important.
Is that, do you think, also kind of the pressure of the industry, like the fashion industry? I mean by that, like,
the fashion industry is really hard. Yeah. The pressure is always on, and I don't think I need to tell you about that. No. And that's also something that you do yourself. I always thought people were doing it to me. Yeah. That's not true. I did it to myself. I took it really seriously.
Yeah, because your background is in fashion. You've worked. You work at the Dutch Amazon, but it's still fashion. Like, Bol is still fashion. So,
and that's so good. It's different here. Yeah, it really is. It really. People sometimes don't believe me, but I have the opportunity to. The human value is so important within Bol. Yeah, and that's something that I thrive on. I love telling human stories. So, for example, a really great story. I have two actually. One great story is nothing to do with fashion, but we have this thing called the Spiegelboek. It comes out every year around Christmas or Sinterklaas, as we have in Holland. Yeah. And it's this book where kids can choose all the gifts that they want from Sinterklaas. Yeah. And they have to cut it out. It's like a really old school thing. Yeah. And it gets really big. For last year, we did a really big casting, an open casting. I want all the kids to just come. And we have 5, 6, I don't know, maybe 700 kids coming.
Whoa, 700 kids.
It was amazing. It was crazy. Yeah. But it was amazing. So we had 3 studios full of kids, all with different stories about why they came. Yeah. And there was this boy who was so shy. He was actually not that young as well. I think he was around 12. And he was telling this story that he was always getting bullied a lot. And that this was his way of making him proud of himself. Oh, and that was like, you need to be in this book. Yeah. And that's something that Bol, I have the freedom, and they applaud it. They like, do it. Yeah. And you also, he was really beautiful, so don't get me wrong, but you don't have to be beautiful to have a visual presence somewhere. Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that I feel so proud of, that we, and as Bol, do, to tell those stories, to make them alive, to keep them alive, and to help people further, to give them a good experience. And also this week, there was this girl, Floor, who lives in my village, and she wants to be a model. So I said, well, girl, come. Yeah. And she came, and her mother was like, she's so proud. And sweet. It made me proud as well. Like, I can help someone with their confidence.
I mean, you're also helping me.
Why?
Oh, I think it's such a privilege to have you on. I mean,
that's
the
really
impact
sweet.
that you make within that company, I've really seen it from outside.
That's really
looking
sweet.
at your work, and yeah, I really, I think it's your personality and who you are as a person is really beautiful.
Oh, that's super sweet. Thank you.
And yeah, I think I have a lot of these conversations because I interview a lot of people, and the fashion industry is really hard and it's tough, and it's...
I don't know why though. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun, but it has another side, and I feel like a lot of people are realizing it. They're seeing it. They're feeling it.
It needs to change though.
Yes,
because
but
I think
that's it. It needs to change. And actually, someone gave me a beautiful example. That Jacquemus now is obviously very, for a couple of years now has been really present in the fashion industry, but how he himself, Simon, kind of does his own PR as he finds a holiday really important. He really puts lots of pictures of his dog, taking his dog to the office, working from home. Yeah,
the best thing ever.
Really documented his wedding. A lot of
it's the personal side and the human side that we need to hug.
Yeah, but it's quite new. I feel for someone in that position and that high fashion in Paris to do that.
Being a human, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's strange, right?
It's
also
strange.
A person.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that made me decided to think broader than just fashion. I needed I don't want to say it though even. I needed more friendly people around me.
Yeah.
People that actually care about each other. And that was something I'm missing. I'm not saying that everybody in fashion, obviously, is an awful person, but it made me feel awful. So it has nothing.
The same.
Yeah,
I have the same.
It has nothing to do with the people, like the individual people, but the clutter of people together is a really.
It's the stress, the KPIs, the deadlines, and it makes you tough and hard. And if I look at myself like 5 years ago, I was a very different person, and not for the better. Like I feel like you change because that's how you have to be in the industry, but you don't.
No, we don't.
No,
I don't. I don't want to. No, you also don't. So that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. No, keep that up.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse, so much for being here. It was a really great conversation.
Yeah, it was an honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much.